Let's talk about the struggle to get money. If you come from environments like where I come from, the hood, the struggle, growing up in the 80s, being born in the 80s, 83, going into the 90s, early 2000s, I've lived through some shit. I've seen some shit in my life. I've seen gang banging. I've seen selling dope. I've seen trap houses. I've seen prostitutes being pimped. I've seen car theft. I've seen all kind of burglaries. And when I say seen that, I mean actually seen it up close without incriminating myself is what I'm basically saying to y'all. I come from a time in an era where we didn't really have a lot of options back then. We had to do black market things. As a black person, as a black man, I had to engage in those activities because there wasn't a lot of options. And racism was very prevalent. It was way more prevalent than it is now. But I say all that to say that today is a different time. And you have people that's my age that still live like it's the 90s, the early 2000s. That's why they are stuck. Because it's a different age. There's more opportunities. I live in a nice big home. Guess what? My landlord is white. He didn't say, hey, I'm not renting this house out to you. He checked my credit score, seen that my credit score was decent, and he rented the house out to me because I got the money. Me and my girl got money. So in a tough market where it's hard to find buyers that'd be willing to pay for this price of a house, because this house is worth like $300,000, $400,000. It's a pretty decent house. It ain't like a mansion or nothing like that. But in this market, he didn't use racism. When I went and got my Mercedes Benz, they didn't say you can't get a Mercedes Benz because you're black. But back in the 90s, you would have got pulled over driving in that Mercedes Benz because you're black. That's what I come from. In the 90s, you had a Mercedes Benz and you ride, man, what? They finna pull you over. Because in their eyes, you're a black man. You should not be driving a Mercedes Benz. That means you sold dope. And a lot of us was doing that. That means you're a criminal. You couldn't even have nice things back then. So for it to get to the point where we're at today, you have men my age and even the youngins thinking that there's no opportunity out here. But there is so much opportunity. Because of the internet opened up everything. The internet opened up so many ways to make money. Like my best friend, he always knew it. Rest in peace, my homie Aaron G. He was always ahead of time. He always knew that the internet was going to be huge. That's why he always kept us at the library on them computers. And he always knew that eventually you were going to be able to make money off of the internet. And he also put me on to YouTube way back then before he passed away. In 2009, 10, he had put me on to YouTube back then. But I never took it serious. I say that to say in today's time, it's a different time. Everything is open. You couldn't sports bet. I can get on my phone right now and just put in a bet. And if I hit that shit, win the bet, and have them send the money to me, right to my bank in like 15 minutes. You couldn't do that in the 90s. So I hear all of these people complaining and whining. You got to think where I come from and where the millennials and the Gen Xers, where we come from. Those two generations. We come from a generation when you had to go outside and play. You didn't have all of this stuff. We come from an analog era. So now what we see is opportunity. We see opportunity. We see money is available. We see options. We see the ability to get free of the system. Get free of the system that is built to keep everybody contained. Back then, we didn't see that many options that we see today. So we on something different. We on building. And then you have Gen Z who are on tearing the system down and destroying the whole system, which I understand. I understand their side of it too. I understand what they talking about because this shit is messed up. But even with all of this that's going on, the wars, the system, the lack of leadership, the destruction of America because of greed, with everything that's going on, you still have to find a way to build your empire because your empire will shield you. The more money you got, the more you can shield yourself. Because if things get bad in America, you can always go to another country because you got money. Wherever you're at and things get bad, you can pick up and leave. Move around the globe till you find a peaceful place to inhabit. See, money is always the answer. And when I say that, it is. It can't fix everything in your life. It can't. It can't fix everything. Some things you have to use your judgment. Some things you have to fix it with your mind and your habits, like I said in a previous video. Money is the great equalizer. It's a problem solver. If you use money right, you can be happy. But you got to use money right. You got to design your morals, your principles to coexist with money. And money has to coexist with your principles. You got to know who you are as a person because money is going to change you. But you have control of how it changes you and who you become when you're changed. Your mind is what's going to control everything. Money is going to amplify whatever is in you. If evil in you, money gonna amplify that. If you're a good person, money's gonna amplify that. If you like shoes right now and you're broke, you like you a fresh, crispy pair of Jordans, or you like Stacey Adams, or even if you like Gucci, you got you one good pair of Gucci or Louis or whatever. If you like that, money is going to make you buy a lot of that. That's why you must check your habits. Look at your habits now. If you smoking all kind of weed, when you get money, you're going to smoke more. If you're drinking a lot right now, when you get a whole bunch of money, you're going to always be drunk. The habits that you have now, can they transfer over into this digital age? Can you really be out there ripping and running the streets, moving through the air, chasing money if you're always drunk, if you're always high? Can you really be flying from place to place or traveling from place to place? Are you really going to feel like doing that if you always drunk, if you always high? So you might have to give up drinking. You might have to give up getting high. And these are tough things to fight. These are the things you got to give up to get to money. Y'all think it's about you got to give up your booty and selling your soul. And it ain't that, bruh. Now, in Hollywood, you got to do some shit like that. But just being a businessman trying to acquire money is not about that. The things that's challenging that most people can't give up is time with their kids, time with their family, relationships, having kids. I done gave up having kids. I ain't got no kids. I'm 42 years old because I never wanted to bring a kid into this world until I was rich. So that's something I sacrificed. The sacrifices that you're going to make is not no Illuminati shit unless you in those, arenas. You're moving around in those areas. The sacrifices are character sacrifices, personality sacrifices, certain traits that you do and habits. Today is a good day as far as where we are at in America to change your habits and get you some money. Because money right now is very, very important. This world is getting crazier and crazier. We need money to protect us. And I know you got dumbasses that say money ain't going to be existing. No, it's always going to be a form of money, whether it's our currency or it's China's currency or Iran's currency. If you got money in our currency, you can always flip it over to their currency. The whole thing is to have money, period. Period. Because you're going to need it. To where this world is going, you will need money. Today is the perfect day to get money. Today's time, 2026 and beyond, it's perfect. It's going to only get better. We got to stay focused on the better instead of living in the past. The past is gone. Keep your eyes on the present and you'll create a better future.